So it turns out the most ridiculous and frustrating phone call that I spoke about in my last video was, in fact, the bank, despite all of the belief to the contrary in the comment section and all of the warnings, and I thank you all for chipping in to say that I did the right thing in not giving them any information, any details, or confirming anything of the same. But it turns out it was, in fact, the bank, and I'll explain briefly why. It doesn't change my general guidance on these kind of things, but it's an interesting tale, so I thought I'd update you on this. So, long story short, if those of you are not familiar with my previous video, what we do in the UK with banks is sometimes we have to fill in a form to say which countries we do business with, or whether or not we manage the affairs of other companies, and whether or not we hold money on account, whether or not we hold money on trust, and all of that sort of stuff. None of which we do. In fact, we don't do business with any other country. It's just all within the UK, and we don't handle stuff for other companies. We don't handle money on account or on trust or anything like that. But the reason for all that is the banks are curious as to certain countries that you might do business with, and obviously they have concerns over particular countries with what's going on in the world. Anyway, they give you these questionnaires and you have to fill them out, and we do usually expect, I mean, they do this every few years or so, and we do expect a bit of a phone call with a few follow-up questions later on. So the phone call wasn't entirely unexpected, but it was kind of out of the blue. And it goes against all guidance when the bank rings you and says, can you please confirm these details? To which I always say, no, you rang me. How do I know you're really the bank? More on my rant on that in the previous video, which if you haven't seen it, I'll link it below. But it turns out it was the bank, because I said, please email through the banking system, the secure system, the request for the further information. Now, I have to emphasize the point here. We only looked on the secure system logging into the bank, and it was definitely 100% the bank website that we were logged into, and we used our proper credentials and everything else. So it definitely wasn't a fake website. So I know a lot of people do get tripped up by fake websites and fake apps and all of this sort of stuff. It was not that. So we were definitely within the bank's secure system, and they said, further to the phone call, here are the questions. And they were relatively simple, and it was done and dusted in 2 minutes. Nothing nefarious, nothing very strange about those questions, just fairly run-of-the-mill routine questions. But it was the bank. My point of all this is it was indeed the bank that originally called us, which I find really bizarre, because it goes against all of the standard guidance of don't answer the phone to somebody random, don't give them any details if you don't know who they are, and certainly don't give them any code that they send you through a text message. Because if you remember, if you watched the previous video, and if you didn't, this is what I said, they said on the phone that they'll send me a message with a code in it so that they can access the system, which is exactly what scammers do, only this was really the bank. And I know it was really the bank because, as I said, they confirmed the phone call within the secure system on the bank's login system. So I am beside myself with how ridiculous this is, because this is a bank and it's common practice, apparently, because some of you guys have said that you work or have worked for banks recently, currently, for many years, and have said that this is, standard practice for some of them to call you up and to ask these questions. Others have said that you would never do such a thing, call up randomly and ask for certain details, because that would be outrageous, because that's not secure, right? You would think that that is absolutely obvious. But nonetheless, here we are. It was genuinely a call from the bank, and I logged in and they said, further to the call, here are the questions, and we're done and dusted as far as I'm concerned. But I can't believe that this really was the bank, and that was it. So my guidance on this doesn't change. I thought I would do this video just to say this is how silly the system is. It really was the bank, but the system allows people to get tripped up by the fraudsters who are doing the same thing. And it's no wonder some people fall for the fraudsters when the banks are doing the same thing. So I reiterate to you my standard advice. I stand by it. I will always do that. I will tell them on the phone, I don't know who you are, because I can't confirm who you are. I'm certainly not giving you any code. I'm not even confirming my business details, postcode, whatever. I'm not confirming those details because I don't know for a fact that you really are the bank, that you are who you say you are. Let me know what you think. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But I thought you'd be interested to be updated that this was indeed the bank. I'm lost for words. I mean, that's saying something for me, right? I'm kind of lost for words, although I've been talking for a few minutes now. But anyway, let me know what you think. Has this happened to you? Don't let this happen to you with a fraudster. Don't give them any details. That's my guidance that I stand by. Anyway, thank you for watching.